and welcome to the Wall Tactics Hobby Stream. So this is one of our first just casual, laid-back hobby streams. So thank you for joining me. For you fellow hobbyists that are either getting stuck in, settling in for the night, or just want to chat about the meta as a whole, whatever it may be, or even the few rewatch games people that there will be. So I have a plethora of things that I'm looking to work on here. Some of this is simply redoing some rework, as in I need to get some bases fixed, or I'm actually pinning stuff, continually pinning stuff. Like here's my battle ready breakable unit. You know what I'm saying? Um, but then I have units that are not, that need to maybe be caught up, like this Mega Knob unit. I have actually some rebasing I got to do here. You can see on these. So when I was trying to catch the meta, as will happen, you guys will see I had this ugly Tank Buster Boy unit that I was putting together that were my old Tank Busters, and then I was trying to repurpose them to fit for the new ones. And as I was doing that, I got this ugly basing because I ran out of my prior material. So then I just bought what I had at the local game store. So now I have to base over that with this, and then I have to repaint it so it can match. So I'm paying the consequences for trying to chase the meta. And you can see some of these guys are a little ugly. Try to make some orange breaker tank busters, and they didn't come out that well. Some better than others, I would say. But yeah, none of this is going to blow you away with paint skill, which is why it should be relatable. And some of this I'm just carrying on where I left off. Like these guys, I didn't take them or wasn't planning on taking them anywhere because I already have a bunch of tank busters. Flash kits. But I started just wanting to get them power ready, and I just got bored and stopped. And I was really trying to make this basing work, but it's so hideous. I also got a bunch of these bushes that I wanted to add from Army Painter. So I do want to add some of that. So I don't put bushes on like all my models, but I will put them on like my elite infantry and such like that. So as for right now, while we're chatting, I'll be doing some basing, and then I'll progressively start painting and whatever else is here, and it's whatever guys we're talking with. So thank you to my channel moderator, Jank, for seeing that I had changed the date and had the wrong date out on there for what we're actually doing. So as for the few gits that are here, thank you for getting stuck in. Arcane, Jank, Brandon, what's up, you gits? Nice to see you. Yeah, I was meta chasing. You're right. I was meta chasing. Yeah, and I actually run out of material. Now, I just picked this stuff up. It's all right. And I have more basing set up. So if I look hideous and whatever, don't mind me. I'm talking to you gits while I'm getting this in. Now, maybe it should be more of my face and less of the... You guys let me know that are here. Would you rather see a close-up on what I'm actually doing or have my face be more of a priority? Whatever it is. And this is open. No, it doesn't matter if you super chat or not. I'll talk to you guys. So let me know what you're thinking. I know there are some gits who wanted to talk about lists from Fix My List, but we moved on from that. But you guys, if you're here now, we can talk about that a little bit too. Oh, I'm just saying. I was like trying to put my hand there, and I just realized you couldn't see anything. Let's see. Oh, that's more of my belly. Let me move this. More of a close-up, right? Trying to fix this git, not showing him too well. Now, if you guys have stuff that you want to recommend for like what I can do to improve painting or add to my models, that's cool too. I'm totally down to hear advice. I'm into more like a grungy, like metallic, dirty grime color for bodies. Sorry, for like the torso, for the cloth and the metals. But when it comes down to the skin, I actually like a vibrant green. And I've been using, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. Have you guys ever seen or used this Acrylic Pro? So I do have, of course, old, GW. I have GW. I have some Army Painter right here. And, the Army Painter. I have some Vallejo. So, I have plenty of stuff. If my desk is covered with stuff right now, guys, if you could only see. At work, I built like a little shelf, and then I put that on my actual table that I use for this. So I just have all types of stuff built out here. So on my left, I have like 12 Def Coptas and like 40 infantry. On my right, I have like all these paints and multiple monitors. So don't mind me if you see me moving around and kerfuffling with stuff. But yeah, have you guys seen this acrylic paint? What I would say is I really, really liked this acrylic paint. It doesn't need to be too thin down or anything like that. So I was actually appreciating this. Oh, you guys are replying too. Okay, that's what's up. He said, taking Cult of Speed. Dude, talking about Cult of Speed, just saying, no lie, here's one of the Death Copters I got he's actually primed at least. But I have 12 of them. And as you guys can see, yeah, I did this because now we're using this base, but I was having an issue with the stand. So I decided I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to put the basing material over this. So this actually might be a good stream for that, where for some of these where I want the stick to remain, I'm going to put this basing material over it. Sorry, guys, trying to get used to the camera. So it's kind of like a dual purpose, because now we have to use these biker bases as they're more official ones than the rounded ones. So yeah, I got rid of my rounded ones, but they actually have this spot for the stick. So yeah, so I ended up doing that. But I have 12 Death Copters to my left here that are unprimed, and then I have all these infantry here. So yeah, I have like 9 Death Copters that are unprimed, and then I have 3 that are primed. So I do want to play Cult of Speed also, because that's what Brandon was saying. What's up, Mondays? Whoa, what's up to you guys? Yeah, and then Arcane was saying Pro Acro has the best titanium white. And that's the funny thing, is I don't even have white. I have ivory. I picked up the ivory. I have, I don't know, maybe about 15 of them. I got a little excited when I started using the paint. At first I only had 2, and then I just boosted it and immediately started having more. Should I leave this like right here? I think this is a good spot for it, because my mic might be getting in the way. But here, I don't even need the mic really right in my face. You guys probably still hear me from here, right? Let me know if you can still hear me from here. I'm trying to find a good spot for the mic so I can look down and let you guys see the model and continue my ugly work. So yeah, Monday, what's up? I'm glad you sent me that list. We can talk about it more with what you're doing here. Thanks for joining us, and I'll take a break from my basing and I'll look at what you sent me as well. Oh, what's up, Rick B? What's up, Rick B? What's it, homie? I seen you out there. I'm so all these guys, there's all these popular, powerful gets out here. Warboxes at late at night. I wasn't expecting that. Now I know, Brandon, it's because you're in the time zone you're in. So I was wondering if you were going to be around too. But yeah, Rick B's out here even in a late Friday, because this came out of nowhere, guys. It was really like, we all have busy schedules and stuff, and I'm like making content, doing other stuff, and I'm like, man, I just don't have time to like always paint and like do everything independently. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do a stream and like more streams and be around more. But I also got to get this stuff done with my models so I can like just, obviously take them where I got to go. And I was really getting annoyed seeing like some of my models based one way, because even from this point, I have to paint these guys with the contrast. So I'll use a thinner, the Limian Medium from GW, and I'll use that with Gorgont fur. And I'll water it down, thin it out very much, and then I'll put that over this basing material that you can see that I'm using now, because my normal color for my basing for the majority of my models is a darker brown than this. But because I always used a somewhat neutral color as my basing material and then painted over it with a certain scheme that I wrote down, I can replicate it anyways. It just takes one extra step. But that was my plan the whole time, when I was like, well, at some point I'm going to run out of basing material or not find the same one. Therefore, I wanted for something more neutral that I could kind of replicate on my own. But it did require another step. But that's just my advice for some of you guys, depending on what you do. If you can find it, because the GW one, that's fine. I liked this, whatever, and then I have used other ones as well. So, yeah. So what's up, Monday? And seeing what you guys are saying in chat, too. Yeah, you got dark mud. I like that. Dark mud is cool. And then, like I said, I'm going to use these bushes if you guys didn't see. I've never used these before, so let me know what you think. But I'm going to start applying those either today or very soon to more of my stuff like Breaker Boys, not my infantry. I appreciate guys who do them for everything, but I'm just going to do it on like all my elite infantry, my vehicles, everything first, and add some more bushes, and then I'll move on to infantry later. What's up, Murder? Yeah, I'm basing some stuff, and then after I rebase some of this stuff with this basing material, then I'm going to probably start painting other stuff and giving it more detail and getting it more proper, ready for larger events. Because right now it's like fine for rogue traders, where as long as it's mostly done, and the TO knows that you're work in progress, he kind of will give you more leeway. Like, okay, you're building the stuff out. I've seen the progress you've been making, and you're playing competitive, so I know you're changing and such. which is cool because it allows us to all get the most out of each other, right? When your TO is too stringent, they think they're doing the world a favor. They're not. They're just really limiting what people are going to play with and putting more stress on the hobby. So shout out to my TOs. So I still have to be battle ready, I'm saying, but I know some are more strict than others at events and such from what I hear online from like Hobby Nightmares. Shout out to Northern North. I'll just say the Northern Exile. But yeah, what is Rick B saying? Was getting ready for the Lone Star Open in the morning. Dang, my boy, you out there. Shout out to Texas. What'd you take, Rick B? What you got? What do you got out there, man? Let me know. Send me the list in Discord, or if you're on Facebook, wherever you are, I can look at it. I'm not going to criticize like in a weird way. You're already out there. I just want to see you. I'm just excited. That's pretty sick. He said 300 gits and only like 7 orcs. All right, dude. Shout out to the wall. That's what I'm talking about, Rick B, representing the Great Wall out there. Everybody's scared to bring orcs. No, I'm just kidding. It's not scared. It's frustration is real for those. So I'm definitely not talking smack about the guys who are not playing them, but it's cool because you don't got to deal with mirror matches as much. Your people are excited to see you because you're something different out there in the field. Just having a good time. So yeah, let me know what you sent or what your list is, Rick B, or wherever I can find it. And then we got Brandon with Nova. Yeah, you do got that. And you're talking about Cult of Speed. He said we do another Nova video again this year. We might. That's up on the table. We can absolutely see what's up, especially while you're taking Cult of Speed out there. Then you're taking Cult of Speed to Nova. I'm getting my Cult of Speed ready as I was just showing in my ugly Cult of Speed bases, because I don't know if it's you guys, just me, or you guys as well, but I know I've had so many Cult of Speed bases, like the sticks, even with my custodes for the bikers, the sticks would break. So in this case, I took them to work and like drilled out a little bit of holes and then prepared the basing material. Oop, my camera got a little mad from that. And I'm going to use the old rounded base I glued on top of the biker base, because I guess the biker base is the official base now. And from there, I'm going to use the basing material, put it over that to hide the monstrosity that is the prior base that it looks like. And then I'm going to paint them up. So it is going to still take like a month to have like all my def copters done. But luckily, every single other unit from my from my Cult of Speed that I could want to use is absolutely ready. Far beyond battle ready. They're actually done well. So other than these def copters I'm adding, everything else for my Cult of Speed is 100% good to go. So I'm still playing with Cult of Speed. I just have some ugly def copters in between. What's up, Crispy Taco? Yeah, I see you guys in Discord as well. You guys are having a live chat. So if you guys have anything to say on that with that live chat, reach out to me. I was going to join, but I didn't put my headset on, but it'd be too chaotic for the people watching and for you guys hearing. But shout out to you guys that are in chat talking as well, that are all having a link-up party. I would join in there and share too, but then it might start lagging. So what up, Cash Me Graffin? Whoa, what's up? 33 Death Guard players. Okay. 33 guys. 33. I love it. Oh, you guys, sorry, you're not seeing any cool models. I know it's nothing cool. Let me see what you put in your. Now you got me interested. I couldn't help it. Rick said I just posted in Lick Reviews on Discord. Was gonna do Bully, but switched to good old Warhord. Man, I got stuff to say about Bully Boys, because we're gonna. If you guys haven't noticed, for the most part, what I've been focusing on is expanding the playlist for more just general content for orc people that are beginners or intermediate to kind of watch everything. Because there's an all-comers channel, and for overall the community growth, not just meta chasing. So I've been focusing on just filling out those playlists, and therefore I've been playing all the detachments to make this video. So I was playing the Hunt before I made the Hunt video. And then I have the Bully Boys video coming out as the recap for that, because I was playing Bully Boys for a while just to get a refill on that. And now I have Cult of Speed. That's my focus. That's going to be on there for a couple months, probably like 3 months or so. And I'm going to see how I feel for Cult of Speed. I'm a fan. Like I said, I already have an extensive Cult of Speed collection, and like how the models look. I've shown that on the channel before too, though. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do now. And what I would say is Bully Boys was as much as I was enjoying the leniency of the WA and the fact that I was like, yes, I have 2 advance and charge, I can maintain this pressure, I feel faster, I feel threading to get into combat longer, like that's pretty awesome. But oops, I just really put it on my gun. Oops, that'll be okay. It was frustrating just because you wanted to do a very similar game plan to Warhord, but you just hit so much softer, and it was really like, okay, no, I need to land both these wall on something this turn to get value, because I'm not killing the stuff. I'm generally just touching it, not always killing it. So it's hard to like advocate for a consistent bully boys list unless you're like alpha strike heavy. But let's see what this is, because he said I went full Warhord. So let me look at Rick B's list real quick, guys, while we're I know it's a hobby stream, but I actually wanted to see what Rick B was doing out here. I'm just going to read it. I'm not going to show a bunch of stuff. He has Gaz, Warhord list, Beast Boss, triple War Boss, and then a War Boss and Mega Armor. That's what's up. No enhancements. 20 Snagamob. I love that. Love me my 20 Snagamob. 2x5 Flash Kids, 1 Gretchen, 5 Ludas, a 3-man unit of Mega Knobs, and a 2-man unit of Mega Knobs. 3 5-man units of knobs, a battle wagon, a hunter rig, and then 2 trucks. Okay, that's different. That's different. I appreciate that. Well, I do like the 20-man snaggers. I'll say you that much, guys. I'm a big fan right now of 20 snaggers in a Warhord list, just being all comers. I can mess up and really harass anything that I have to face right now with 20 snaggers, and they're at a discount compared to the boys, because the boys going up that 10 points doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you've already considered the War Boss went up, the Pain Boy went up, you know, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then the general toughness of the game went up. So I'm a fan of that. I like your list. I'm not, you know, man, the thing about the Hunter rig, which is I'm glad you're leaning into it, because I did run it too. There's just sometimes you just can't hide them when you have them piece dev F, and you know, you can't hide that big old lunkin thing when you also have the battle wagon on the field, and then get a little stressful. But the fact that you have a bunch of stuff that can focus on gas is pretty cool. Your Mega Knobs, the War Boss and Mega Armor, you know, I do like that more in Bully because the rapid ingress from the teleporter, so it feels a little out of place here. And I'm not sure what's going in the wagon, if it's like all your knobs, or because, well, you don't have trucks, right? I don't think he has trucks. No, he has trucks. He has 2 trucks for the SWAT teams, for the flash kits. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. I like the mid-table play that has, and it has a lot of meat. You're not just falling over. So I'm interested in how this will do. Pretty excited to see a Hunter rig actually being taken on the field, dude. I'm telling you. 20 boys in the Hunter rig, it's like, all right, bro. Because it keeps the wagon available. And people don't generally have stuff for both of it. So shout out to you, Rick B. That's pretty awesome. I like that. I'm really big fan of the gas plus the 20 snaggers. They eat demons, they eat katans, they crumb so much variety of units. It's super exciting. Let's see what else. What am I painting? Yeah, I'm basing. I'm fixing the basing here on some of these flash kits because they're horrific. And then not just the flash kits, but there's several units that I need to fix the basing because I was trying to get them battle ready. But they just stand out as so hideous because the only material they had was this really one that ended up not settling or looking really good. And so therefore, here I am redoing something I had done in the past. And then even then, I'm going to paint over it again. So tis the price you pay for chasing the meta. Yeah, and then there's also, I'm going to try and abuse challenger cards. Well, you're going to keep trying to get challenger cards. You're going to try to be second, so you can always get them. Or you're going to try to get them first, and then that way you can just keep getting them. I like that. That's decent. For an orc, that's different. Sorry, I was trying to eat on stream. I forgot I had a plum there. The lazy orc. Whoa, what's up? You get? I haven't seen you around. Who's a lazy orc? Shout out to lazy orc. Look at that. With the lean back. You're the perfect stream for this. Lazy orc. Kick back. base up, do whatever you got to do. You know, guys, that's what I was, and it's funny because I do the community streams. So I see the kind of skill orc players have of hobbying, or like there's $1 billion clown farm. Shout out, $1 billion clown farm. But those guys can paint, just like the guys in the paint competition. So putting this stuff out here, wasn't too excited to show off my mid-level painting. But we're just chilling and getting ready for events or whatever we're trying to do, or just make progress on our models. What I always say to people as well is, like, even if you're not really getting ready for an event, just getting your orcs finished and painting and not knowing you have to do them in the future and everything's nice and caught up and looks like a nice symmetrical army and uniform army is very gratifying once you start getting that feel going. When you've never had it before, it's one of those things where, like, you can't miss what you never had. And when I first started playing 40K, I wasn't a painter guy, because I got into 40K when I was really like 27, 28, like right when the Rona started. And, I wasn't like super hyped to paint anything. So once I was that annoying guy who showed up at the store with like a bunch of gray army. So, but once I actually finally started getting full, 2K points done and full detachments done and having a uniform army, at that point, I like never wanted to paint or play with anything that was gray and ugly anymore. But before then, until I actually knew the feeling, I couldn't miss what I never had. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't miss the fact that my army was like that. So that's why I always just encourage people, like, just get it done. Just get it done. And once you get it done, you'll understand why people promote it and why it's a big part of the game as well. So normally I'd be doing this. Normally I'd be doing this like on my own. For a little bit of free time I'd have, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm just in a hobby real quick. Or I'd be with like my woman. Shout out to my woman, sweetheart. She'd be helping me and such, but I'm like, no, let's just do it together, guys, with the wall right now. So for us that are going out and we're going to go to events and such, a little bit is a time right now, in my opinion, to just do whatever you want, because everybody knows the meta is a little bit of a sick joke right now. Not that you can't win games, because clearly we demonstrate that you can, and I encourage people to keep trying and playing what they want, because you can still play even in that case. Like, still having success with 12 kilocans, for example, before I stopped playing Dread Mob. The only reason I changed was to adjust for content. But the only reason why I got into using 12 cans, for example, was because I was so headstrong on, like, no, man, if I preach play whatever you want, then that's what people are going to see me playing and what I'm going to be using. So that's where we got cans and all types of Dread Mob lists, and then it ended up paying off. Yeah, $1 billion clown farm is a funny get. Oh, what's up, Crow Talk? What's up? You get this rubber captain is looking how positive flash gets are looking. Whoa! Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I've been working on my Orcish, by the way, guys. So if you see me, saying it, you could be like, well, that sucks. Yeah, I know it sucks. That's why I'm working on it. But it's I also like when people are really good with that voice. Don't worry, I won't overdo it. I'm not gonna do everything like that. But shout out to you. I've never seen Crow Tuck before, or the Lazy Orc. So some of you gets I ain't never seen before coming out to play. So that's pretty awesome. Painting some squig mushrooms. Painting squig mushrooms. That's awesome. Yeah, that'd be sick if I could like get little mushrooms as like a basing material, like these bushes, right? Like, they got these army painter bushes I want to put on later. If I could get little mushrooms, I'd be all over that. Now I'm interested in trying to find that. I also picked up 40K at the start of COVID. Did you? That's interesting, Nerf, because I felt like, I thought just based off talking to you and stuff that you've been playing longer. You got that old wise feel to you when in conversation for understanding 40K. Yeah, I started in 8th edition, and I absolutely loved the green tie. There's a Stratford green tie. I think I have my book right here. Oh, yeah, I do. So I have my codex is literally right next to me right here, too. I love that codex. It was a pretty fun codex. But regenning big mobs of boys, that's what I did all day. So while everybody was playing big evil missiles of certain things, and there was like the unkillable dreadnoughts and all types of fun builds out in 8th edition at that time. Morty was still kind of a tough dude back then. And it was all good. I was just running around with 20-man units of boys. And that's how I started to learn to play 40K, guys. I was just collecting boys out of shoe boxes. That was my 8th edition experience. And that's when I started 40K. Painting more Trench Crusade tonight. How is Trench Crusade? Now, there's so many cool local stores around me that I could like get into some of those game styles as well. And in the future, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But like, how is it like that Trench Crusade? I know people have been playing Old World 2. You know, shout out to Morty and Glory. I'm a Morty and Glory fan. That guy's playing a little bit of Old World 2 from what I've seen. He had his little stints where I think he was playing a little bit of Age of Sigmar, but there's something that I'm not sure what it is, but not orc players, 40K players just seem to do not necessarily resonate with Age of Sigmar in the long term. You know, I have an Age of Sigmar army too, but just saying. He's saying, on my side trip in lobbying, I'm building a 3D printer to print some WTC terrain when I get back to my orcs. Oh, dude, speaking of, when it was during Rona season, I picked up printing. Now, I think you have, you're not using a resin printer. So it's a little different because you're using a printer for actual terrain. So that's different. So I definitely support that because you don't have to like deal with the toxic chemicals in the air. It's kind of space efficient, air efficient. You don't need ventilation or stuff like that. And having terrain for the low and then being able to replicate it is quite useful. I learned how to use my resin printer, and during Rona, when I was also in at that time, I printed a Fabius Bile army because I was really into the books. I know I don't seem like it, or maybe I don't seem like it. I don't know, or I do, but I don't know all the GW lore and everything like that because there's so much of it. Like I don't know 30K, but I do know a decent amount of like Xenos factions and some chaos. And to be honest, Fabius Bile is like the only cool chaos guys. To be honest, I think I'm not too much of a chaos fan. I'm very biased to orcs, obviously, as you can tell. Welcome to Wall Tactics. But if any, Space Marine or Chaos Marine is going to be someone I'm cool with, it's Fabius Bile. And his rules in-game are pretty cool, too. So I printed a Fabius Bile army, and I was running it for a while when I printed it. And then eventually I just stopped doing it. So, yeah. And let's see what else we got. Shout out to you guys. I'm painting Zangors, which are basically orcs, right? Kind of in their own weird way. They're like in the chaosy kind of. They're not as tough as orcs. They're not as brutal as orcs. They're not as cunning as orcs. They're not as green as orcs. They're lacking on every metric. But the ideal of the fact that they're in the front lines, trying to get stuck in and then getting blown to bits. At the behest and in pleasure of their gods, yes. In that case, Zangors are basically orcs. In that case, let's see. I got you a link on Etsy. We got me a link. Oh, what are you talking about, Git? Are you gonna send me a virus, dude? Did you just say that live? Hey guys, you heard this? You seen this? You saying I got okay? Link. What is this for? Let's see what this guy's trying to do. Oh, a little fungus. Oh, okay. You get nice. All right, I'll see if I can get a hold of these. So he sent me some bits for. Hey, should I? I think I hope I don't mess this up. I can share a screen. Should I show some of these guys real quick? Let me see if I can show this. Window. Here we go. Boom. There it is. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? High custom little mushrooms so you guys can put them on your bases. What do you think, chat? You guys can see it on screen right now, right? This is what Rick B just sent to me. He was like, check out these little Etsy mushrooms. I think that's pretty cool. Pretty sick. I might have to dip into that. I particularly would like them on my Squig Hung boys. Or maybe like in the mouths of the squigs, because sometimes their mouth being open, I'm just kind of like, what's the point of that? They can eat them. That'd be kind of sick. Put them around your weird boys whenever the weird boys are kind of taking some stuff off. What other units? Maybe kill rigs might even be kind of cool to have that. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think about those. Oh wait, should I have? Actually, there's more to them. Let me pull that up. Oop. I lost the. There it is. Okay. Where are these? Okay. There we go, guys. You guys can see it demonstrations. Click through some of that. Little shroom. Look at that, boy. And it's just missing an orc now. It's missing an orc. And then I would put these on my Gretchen too, or on my Gretchen. All right, man. We might be on. Oh, sorry. Might be on to something right now, Rick B. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was actually pretty cool. There we go. Go back to that. Stop sharing that. Boom. All right. All right, Chad. Seeing you guys. Thank you for that, Rick B. Thank you. What do you guys think, Chad? If you guys got to see that, what do you guys think of the little mushrooms? Huh? I think the mushrooms are pretty dope. That would be kind of sick. Now I'm thinking about what can I put them on? All right. I'm on. All right, Rick B. Now you got me cooking here with this. I'm cooking in my mind. What's up, Tooth Snatcher? Oh, Tooth Snatcher. Whoa! Yeah, that's what's up, Tooth Snatcher. You like the mushrooms, Tooth Snatcher? I might need some of those. Crow Talk, he said, I watch a bunch of your videos. It's neat to see you live. One of your videos on Tactical Brigades was my favorite. Mech Captain Enhancement allows me to bring my Captain Madrock model again. Whoa, yeah! Captain Madrock lives on through Tactical Brigade, and GW took them from us. Man, and you know why that caught me off guard too? Was because he's in the lore, like in the more recent books. Like I think it's Brutal but Cunning book. Like Captain Badrock is actually in the books. Like, why would you remove one of the very few org characters that's like actively active in lore? He has personality, and you know his own unique mentality as a freebooter war boss, where he will make deals with the Imperium, where he will show that like hesitation before entering certain engagements or look for proper timing. It's not that he's scared or anything, because orcs are never scared, but he deals with combat in a more cunning, almost blood axe way, but very much just freebooters, because he's essentially just a mercenary. So it was really unfortunate when GW was like, no, we'll just get rid of that guy, even though he's actually active in the lore. And then we'll give you like a cool new Snickrot, when it's like, what? He looks just like my old Snickrot. Like, I don't have him here on the table with me. I have a lot of models right now, but I don't have my Snickrot on the table with me. It was nice. GW has been very considerate with like giving us new skulls, so I'm definitely not going to complain about that. It's just the fact of like, all right, that Badrock was actually a part of the lore, and you guys gutted him out. That was a little bit weird. And shout out to Wicked Joe, even though I don't think he's in here right now anymore. But Wicked Joe was with me when we were at Adepticon, and Wicked Joe got his hands on Captain Badrock, and boom, like soon after, maybe 2 months later, he was gone. So it was very unfortunate. So shout out to you. Nice to see you, Crow Talk. Thank you for the love. I'm glad you liked that video. I definitely enjoy doing stuff that's all about the detachments, just so everybody can be updated. Remember, we got different ways to play, and then it got demonstrated throughout the last couple of weeks. Now, like several detachments are just popping off. Now, it is like I say, I'm one of the first people that will always tell you, exceptions don't make the rule, but it does encourage you to at least attempt to be an exception, because there are those exceptions. And in the end of the day, this is just a game, right? We're just having fun. And if you're willing, like I said, even when I give my little tier list breakdown of the detachments, or like how I would play them, I will always confess to you, like, this has its learning curve. This gives you another layer of difficulty when you're first learning it. But there are ways to execute wins, and that's what we like to show off here. So even though exceptions don't make rules, and gosh, Tactical Brigade guys, I'm not going to rant. Even though you guys got me here live, you're not going to give me to rant in the negative way. But very frustrating, the current state of Tactical Brigade guys, because I'm one of the people, because I have an Astra Militarum, or I had, I've been getting rid of all my other armies. But I had a Tactical or Astra Militarum army because I like orders. I actually had a full Tempestus Scion army, and I like playing the, KG giving out orders from a crappy chaff unit and getting it to do something that's impactful in the game, even though it has no metric. You know, I've always been someone who likes to trade assets for scoring or board positioning or winning engagements, like in any game I play. If it's like Age of Empires or just strategy games as a whole, that kind of meat grinder style has always been my thing, but having a little bit of finesse to it was always very appealing. That's why the only little interest I had in guard was with something like orders from scions or just allied forces. So when orcs were finally given orders in Tactical Brigade, I was someone who, if you look at the older videos, I was like, man, I really want to play with Gob Boomer and send orders downfield. And that's how I was expressing a lot of my list. I mean, I'd use bikers, I'd use hogs, I'd whatever. I could just anything that I felt like I could just throw double orders onto down the field and just make it more impactful. I was playing with Mazrog even in some of the games, and then GW is like, nope, you're not going to get your double orders anymore, and you're just down to one, and we're going to also make those units not even that good anymore, and you're just going to have a couple big missiles. So even though I know Brandon's somewhere around here floating around, he's going to appear out of nowhere, out of a ditch, and be like, the Tactical Brigade's awesome. It is still good, and it still has its way to play, but it's just not dynamic in the sense of like diversity or anything like that. It still feels cool because you're getting orders to units, but it just lost some of its zest for a little bit. Maybe I'll come back to it. But since I already did the videos on it, it's not like a priority right now. But for you guys, I'll play whatever. But a lot of the time what I'm playing now is I'm just playing different detachments for content. And I'm hoping to nail down, which is what Cult of Speed's hopefully going to be, and just play that for months on end so I can get real proficient at that. We got nerf. The models for TC, okay, are dope as he. But the game is still kind of broken at the moment. Just some killer combos and factions down around own everything. Okay. That sounds like a typical GW game. I have both, and I'm about to be printing some orcs too. Okay, you out here doing everything, dude. Printing orcs, and yeah, like I said, my personal opinion, like with printing and models and such, like here's a Mega Knob with twin kill saws. That's like a work in progress. Obviously, he's not beautiful, guys. Don't judge me. He's a work in progress, and this is what I mean. I'll have him, but then I also have the actual GW models, and then so. You can do, I like to do the actual GW ones, and then I like to have some printed ones, and then maybe a kit bash one or like a different printed or a different GW kit that looks similar, etc. So I like to mix it up with a bit of GW and then a little bit of like kit bashing / creativity, or just creativity with the printing. So that's just me. You know, some people will do more of their army, some people will do less of their army, but that's just where I stand for, even though no one asked me, but here we are having a conversation as a group, hopefully. All right. But yeah, shout out to you, dude. I think printing's sick. I actually love printing. I print more, but then I use what used to be my printing space for streaming space. So one had to go. And then I have some friends who still print. So if I really need something, my friends will print it out for me, which kind of makes me now want to try to get some of those mushrooms and then try to put some mushrooms on my bases. So this got me thinking in the hobby time, which is what I wanted to do, because hobbying can be a little lonely, guys, right? When we're out here. That's why people do like Discord chats and calls, and people are doing those now. So if you're in Discord, you can join that chat and see what those big-headed gits got to say. He said, I'm adding mushrooms. Oh, the Lazy Org. What's up to you? Get 5 Wall Tactic memberships to the Lazy Org. Whoa! That's what I'm talking about, kicking back in the chair, just chilling out. That's what we're doing out here too, man. So thank you very much to that. Nice to see you around. I've never seen you before. So thank you for the support, for just showing up and supporting the Great Wall at that Wall Energy. Check out the after action reports. What else we got to say? Videos we did with Brandon. Whoever it's in, you guys got to see. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you very much. And even if it's harsh criticism, I don't care at all. We got thick skin. So let me know how we can improve. And really this stream is because you guys have been interacting with me and telling me to do more community streams. So I'm being sure to do both. I'll do tactical streams, community streams. I'm probably going to do some pre-recorded short-term content. What do you guys think about, I mentioned it before, like a stream like kind of talking about how squigs are just totally messed up right now. Squig's like Squig Cowboys are messed up, and I just feel like I got to get that shout out there because I'm tired of people saying they're like bad or somewhat playable or whatever. It's like, dude, they're really bad. What's up, Vento? What should I get? Because they're in a frustrating position. Oh, there we go. Hola, mi gente. Whoa! He said, hello, my people, my great wall. How you guys doing? So what's up? Nice to see you again. Very cute, baby. And thank you for that wall support as always, homie. You've been here for a long time too. I was just saying. I think because we started the channel, I think like officially we took the name over in January of 23, I believe. I have to check. My Big Mac is actually in Poland right now, getting some work done for our actual real life job. So shout out to Big Mac David. So he's not around here. That's why if you guys been seeing, I've been a little sporadic all over the place trying to get technicals done because the Big Mac that we do the channel with isn't here. But yeah, since you guys said let's do this and more content for that. So Big Mac, thank you very much for that, homie, and for how long you've been here. But the Big Mac said, from what I understand, the channel started in 23 June. We took the name and then did our first video in like the July of that year, so like the next month. So the channel's only been around like 2 years exactly. Like we just creeped up on 2 years right now, which is crazy because I know if you look at like the expectations that you're told for making channels and stuff like that, at this point we were only supposed to be expecting like 1,500 subs or something like that, according to metrics, or maybe 2K if we're lucky. So thank you guys for all the support. It gets like you. I know you've been around for a long time, so thank you very much for that. And the guys around here. Whoa! I'm going back to the chat. Sorry, guys. I'm going from top to bottom. That way I don't miss none of you guys. Even though not everybody is currently, leaving super chats is okay. We're talking through all the chats. It's just a talk right now. So anyone doing extra, thank you. That means a lot. But we're just growing this wall energy right now. I see you guys saying killers, both printing. Check your DMs to the fungus bits. Adding the mushrooms to my bags. Yeah, I got a bag of those. I put little cactuses on my squig hog bases. I like that, and also that dirty Mike and the boys. I took that to work, like my actual civilian job, and I call some guys that work that. So thanks for sticking that name in my head now. We get an HR report. So he goes, if I eat plastic mushrooms, will I get lit? You'll get something. Food poisoning or cardiac arrest, I'm not sure, but yeah, that probably wouldn't be beneficial. Right? Mutalord 2, they gave me bad rook right up in their codex, but no data sheet. So odd, right? That's so odd. So I'm under the impression that he'll come back. I actually am. Even just cope, because I'm not someone who generally copes like too often or like thinks too highly of GW. In reality, if you know me, I'm actually a little harsh on GW. Compared to like my local friend groups and stuff. I just don't bring it up to online because there's enough of that online for the most part. But how I personally feel is not very happy with them. I'm someone who's on the side of GW, doesn't really handle orcs well and thinks of us in a shallow way. Or in a shallow way, like not even negative. It's just they either make us goofy AF or way too serious, and then we overpower everything, and then they have to like just use plot armor to defeat us, just like in the Beast Rising series, right, where everything was looking awesome, and then they're like, wait a second, we made the orcs way too awesome. Let's nuke this in a weird way. So GW just seems to kind of be all over the place with orcs, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And like you're saying right now with Oof Tech, tell me what you guys think about Oof Tech before I go on a rant, because I know it's like a newer book. Not everybody's seen it. I have the book on Audible and everything, so. Yeah, I listen to a lot of my stuff on Audible, I will say. I have some hard copy books, like some of the Beast Rising books, but don't shame me for not being an avid reader anymore. So I try, but I read a lot of stuff. Like just simple rules for GW, because now there's too much. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see, he goes, give us some yes, we need tanks. I was so into grab tanks, guys. I started to get those printed up when Dread Mob rules first started, and even Art of War Gates. Shout out to the Art of War Gates. I remember when it was dropping, they were talking about how they had ordered a bunch of grab tanks. So if you haven't never thought about it, or if you're new or whatever, just imagine grab tanks in Dread Mob and them able to use the button ability. with all of those strats, and then Grot tanks have like a built-in reactive move. Man, things were crazy. Full rerolls to hit on them. Oh, if you're playing Crusade, man, just don't bully your friends with that, because I know you can cross units. So let's say you bring, like in a Crusade, you bring Captain Padrock into a Dread Mob detachment, and then you brought some Grot tanks, some Chinook Kaptas, stuff like that. Oof, it gets so potent. But see how that's Crusade? That's not what we can actually have access to in competitive play. It's like, all right, man, well, thanks GW for narrowing this. Or shout out to Brandon. Brandon had mailed me some mega tanks that we were using in the beginning of the edition, that Forge World ones. They were already outrageous and actually barely playable. Got rid of those as well. So not even that kind of tank. We had the Grot tanks, or I think we can actually, can we even still use Grot tanks anymore? I don't even think we can use Grot tanks anymore. Grot tanks were kind of cool as well. It was a really odd kit. Very, very, very rare to actually see. But in some sense, because that armor content, you were like, that's kind of cool. Nope, they got rid of that too. So as much as I'm grateful for like Squig Hog Boys, as in like I think Squigs need to be more incorporated into the Orc just identity in 40K, not in the same sense of like Gloomspite gets in AOS, because they're like everywhere to the point that I'm like, all right, I guess everything's a little Squig. And I don't necessarily love that they look like pigs. I'm just bringing up the fact that there could be more Squig associated, but even abilities on your data sheet or war gear or something like that. And I know we have Squig bombs, and like I said, I was like one heartbeat away from ranting about Squig Hog Boys, but the bomb squigs fundamentally don't work for orcs right now in a way that like makes sense for our army and our faction. So those don't. We're not on the wish list thing yet, and chat's not really in that direction yet. But if we start talking about things we want to see changed and stuff, boys, Squig bombs are right there at the top of the list. Like, come on, very easy, and very mandatory in my opinion. Because right now we pay for that war gear, and we, yeah. That's just, I'm not going to say all that, but everything I got to say. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? So I was talking about lore, and then I went on a tangent. It's okay. And tanks. Started talking about tanks. Tanks had to get me right. Let's see. Which is good, guys, because I'm glad we're here together, because I'm getting through. See, I still have a bunch of models that I'm trying to get rebased here. So we're doing it together. Thank you very much for that, because at least they're going to look uniform now. So thanks for being here with me. More showings than I thought would be here today and right now. So thanks, you guys, and thanks for the love. Took 2 weeks. What clan you want to go off? And that's what I would say. As much as I do love that you're having an identity with a clan, that's why I went for like a purple theme for my orcs, because it's neutral, kind of can identify with any clan. And in reality, guys, remember, if you're new to orcs and such like that, one thing to keep in mind is when you really consider what is a wall, which is why I always call our community the Great Wall, to be clear, because a proper wall, a great wall, a wall that moves, across galaxies and is interplanetary, is always going to consist of multiple clans. Even if it's a wall that's really just happening on one planet, it's very, very, very common. Here's a minor spoiler alert for Catachan Devil book if you haven't read it yet. You need to give it a good listen. Catachan Devil, I know it talks about guard and such, but because you're a human being, you can appreciate the human perspective when they're looking and interacting with orcs, and then you get entertained by their responses to dealing with stealing orcs. But in that book, it's about blood axes and death skulls both being on a jungle planet fighting Catachans, and the blood axes have actually interacted with these Catachans in the past on other planets, on other fields of engagements, and the Death Skulls have their own way of what they're trying to do here. But nonetheless, the idea is that even when it's just a ragtag groups of leftover boys or mandos or whatever it is, like that one commando unit in your list, in a lore accurate way, very much could be simply one squad of blood axes that got left over from another scrap, and they joined a bigger group of gits, and boom, that's why they're their own color. And then you could pick someone else that's their own color to a certain degree, but then only one shoulder pad or a shoe or whatever is actually identified to your core clan, which is like the color purple or orange or whatever it may be. So there's so many ways you could really diverse your orcs up, or stay very accurate, true to the lore, or just play your own theme. So there's not actually a wrong way. And I seen someone asking about this earlier, like, oh, what if I want to be a clan and such? Like, there's ways that you can still appreciate that and do cool stuff. He said orcs should be able to take other faction tanks and just copy their data sheet and negative some of their balance out, like just automatically hit on 5s. No ability to get +1 to hit, like just make them terrible, but you can use them. That'd be funny. That could be a crusade thing. We got a new git right here. Shout out to the new git, Camden. Whoa, the W stands for wall, right? Camden W. Whoa, that's what it means. I'm assuming that. It's very suiting. He said, just getting into orcs is my first army. Welcome. That was my first army as well. Any sets I should get, avoid before 11th. So there was, funny you said that, because I do have my ideas, and I've seen, Red Ones Go Faster, where he made a video on that, so you can cross-reference what I say with his video. I didn't watch his video, but I know he did one on it. Very cool that he did that. As for kits, what I think you should get and should avoid. Now, I'm not really someone to be too negative on poo-poo on I think GW is going to get rid of any more than the stuff they just massively got rid of right now. So there aren't too many things that I would say to get, but one right off the bat that I would say would be maybe a Mega Knob, some of the Mega Knob kits, because they look kind of old and boxy, but they're not that old. But really specifically the Weird Boy kit. Weird Boy kit is quite dated. Still comes in resin for the typical Weird Boy. So I wouldn't get a standard Weird Boy. And a lot of people are under the impression that the orc characters are going to go up in base size if they're already not on like a 50 mil base. So a lot of the time those guys might end up going up. What I would say if you're a new orc player is actually try to look for what you can get as deals and just start to fill out your collection with diverse units of typically a little bit of the newer sets from their releases. So even if it's not meta, if you can get your hands on stuff that's just a little bit on the lower price range because people are just not using them as much, or they had too many, you could just pick it up. Like, oh, I know someone that's getting rid of a Gorkanaut for $80 because whatever reason. Even those kind of deals, I would advise go ahead and getting those because really when you're playing orcs, it's about just having more tools and units than really just trying to limit yourself to one style or collection of army, because you'll just be capping yourself. We are a diverse faction, so if you hemmed yourself into just playing Beast Naga style, well, that'd be like if you were playing Emperor's Children and you just kind of pigeonholed yourself into only playing three data sheets. It's not that Squig Hog Boys and Beast Naga units are bad by any means. They're actually pretty awesome, and it's a new updated line, and you're going to be able to get a good amount of those. But if you limit it to being the whole identity because of strength and because of the age of the kit, well, then you're just going to be pigeonholing yourself into playing only certain rules sometimes, and that could get kind of boring in itself too. So I would say go for some diverse units. Avoid anything that's resin or getting too many of the old boy kits, because I think GW might. I'm not wishing for this, so no chat. You guys want to fight me? Go ahead. We can fight. There's a weird possibility that GW is like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make sure you have to bring the boys war gear kit with the boys as instructed in the new box. So Shudas and Chappas, right? That would be horrendous, hideous, but it would match what GW has been doing. And I'm one of the people that believes in pattern recognition, and you can kind of see where GW is kind of headed sometimes. So I very much hope my 120 boys hope that I don't have to do that, because I really only have about 50 shooter boys, so I wouldn't be able to fill out every single squad. But I know some people don't even have that, so it would mess up a lot of collections. So too many of the older kits, like maybe even Ludas or Burner Boys, would be another one. So that I would kind of avoid, and in a weird way, in a weird way, because there's a good chance that we're going to be the big bads of next edition, based off all the rumors that I've been hearing and seeing, is we're going to get a mixture of really good priced, kits as a starter kit, and GW might be replacing some stuff at once. So as you fill out your collection, you should also be excited for leaving some budget and space and hobby time for you to get whatever is new for the next edition. So don't overwhelm yourself with kits. I would say build out what you're getting, get up to a nice 3,000 points or whatever it may be. Stop there, get everything nice, painted up, ready to go. And then when the new edition hits and you're getting the new start collecting orcs and filling out your collection even more, well, then you don't have to focus on getting everything to an ideal battle ready standard and then chasing the meta from that point. You already have your stuff filled out and based up and ready to go. So overall, the idea would be have a diverse collection that you're willing to paint and also hobby on. Get that all done, and then when the new edition starts, you'll be able to invest a little bit more like fiscally responsibly because there'll be a lot of deals going on for orcs, and you'll know what they're getting rid of sooner than later. So I would say play a little bit more reserved, but only in the sense of you actually want to actually finish everything you hobby on. Because, man, I know I personally got way too much stuff when I first started, and then I dreaded kind of hobbying on it because I had a stack of 8 boxes of stuff and then other stuff that I had picked up that was secondhand from someone else that was already built. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got too much stuff. I don't even know what to paint anymore. So don't do that. Get as much done as you can. That way, when you take on all the new stuff from the new edition coming on down the road, you're like, all right, I can take all this new kits in and with the new fresh of breath of fresh air and get it all done. And then Brandon I knew it. There, Brandon appeared, guys. Like we said, Brandon appeared. He goes, man, Tactics Skills has so many tricks. Yeah, it does. I love having OC tricks. I love being able to fall back and do stuff. But ultimately, you're playing very much hero hammery, and I'm just in a phase right now, boy. We get them phases where I'm not feeling hero hammery, right? Even in my Warhord list, I don't feel like bringing a bunch of characters. I want to limit it. So even though it's all right, totally fine. Tactical Brigade is totally fun. I can see myself going back to it, but I'd rather go back to it when there's a little bit more wiggle room to do other stuff. We miss you. Come back to Tactics. Okay. Jenks coming out too. Yeah, he said getting to able to redeploy with orc still gets me giddy. That's such a valid point. And I'm glad you guys are still giving Tactical Brigade love. And that's why I never fully poo-poo on anything, because that's just not what it's about to be an orc, dude. There's clans and gets for every flavor of WoW, and that's actually what is at the core of a proper WoW. Having all these different clans that are specialist and unique at different things. And then you kind of just find your way in and find your preference. So if you're a new person, trust me, guys. Orcs are one of those factions that you could just play for the long haul and just take it easy and fully get your stuff painted out and built out and make cool custom kits. Because if you're playing something like World Eaters or Emperor's Children, or like I used to have Death Guard, for example, once you get the same 5 kits, that's it. That's it. You're kind of just playing those things in different orders and different amounts, and not too much diversity going on there. And you can very much just lose the passion after you did all this work into this army because you're still using the same things. As an orc, you might paint something up, put it down for a whole edition, and then you're coming back to it. Like me with my Cult of Speed. Cult of Speed's been sitting there. It's 9th edition. Just chilling, not really doing much, getting really any reps in. My snaggers were taking the lead, and even my walkers. But now, all of a sudden, Cult of Speed has my interest again. I already have so much of that stuff done that my planning for hobbying is very simple. Just get some Def Coptas done, and boom, I'm ready to go with a variety of Cult of Speed lists, not just one. It's like I don't even need max Def Coptas done. I just want anywhere from 9 to 12, and I can already start playing with it. So that's how you should feel as an orc player. Is like, as you are building out your collection, it's a long-term investment for future self, where it just gets easier and more fluid with time. That's why you see these orc players that still appear and do well with nuanced attachments and tools, or they just pull out random weird combos and then run it, and you're like, wow, I never see that, or I didn't see that again. It's like, well, that guy's just been running it this whole time, and as the meta changed, he was able to fluidly adjust with it because he already had all the orcs done from the past editions of him just simply having those units done. Right, that's how it was when I played Dreadmob. I already had a bunch of Ludas and Walkers already done as well, so very easy to plug and play into that as well. So I'm pumped for orcs and what's to come. Even though people sometimes will be like, "Oh no, we're the first faction, power creep." It's like, yeah, I get it, but it also means we can get new models, new lore, new rivalries, new player bases, so I'm here for it, right? Or you can get plot armor like Necrons and just totally stay strong the whole edition. So let's see what other kids got to say. You guys were all into the Tactical Brigade talk. The lazy orcs. I'm an Evil Sons player and love running Cult of Speed, but I find Warbuggers and Deathcopters real pain to paint. But I may never be able to run the optimal build. I mean, you don't need to only run a bunch of those guys to have the optimal build. I think we showed a list. Oh no, I don't think we actually ended up showing that list. But if you check our Discord, or we'll just say it kind of now, there are lists that are kind of the combined unit where it's a good mixture of damage units with some Cult of Speed keyword units in there. So it was only like 9 Vikers and 9 Coptas, not fully, the full max amount. And even then the guys were saying, well, maybe they could run less. And then they were using trucks with mechs to utilize a mobile firing deck, had some tank busters to deal with those hard-hitting units, buggies running around the field, and then also just a mixture of other damage units. Or some people will bring Zagra for just like the mass OC and the ability to move through walls and still play that pressure game. So there are mixes if you find if you look at the videos we did about that. There are other ways than just spamming those 2 data sheets to play Cult of Speed for sure. Yeah. Brandon's saying, I'm telling you, run my tactical list and you would change your mind. There's nothing to change my mind on. I don't even think Tactical Brigade list is bad. I don't feel like playing that style of Tactical Brigade, and it's only because I've played more diverse fun Tactical Brigade. Therefore, I'm like, I don't really feel like playing a more limited version. It's like, I don't know. It's like being able to paint with all the colors, and then someone's like, you can still paint, but now you got like 4. It's like, okay, well, I don't really feel like. It's not that I don't like painting anymore, and it's not that I don't like those colors. It's just I want a little bit more to it. I'll wait. I'll wait it out till I really feel like using those colors. That's more towards how I feel right now. I'll wait on Tactical Brigades until I really feel like shooting stuff with tank busters, until I really feel like shooting stuff with and playing with snaggers again. But I don't really feel like playing with beast snaggers anymore, boys, and I really don't feel like shooting people with tank busters that much. So Tactical Brigade is just like, I'm okay. And I will play with some tank busters, but not necessarily with the SAG and them having to be this big missile unit. So nothing wrong with it. Where can we find good prints? You can ask people in Discord where there'll be good places, and then you can find some more. I personally can't say right now. And GW has been trying to attack people for, if your Discord has them. So that's why Discord doesn't have them anymore. What's up, Lazy Orc? He said, I'm a Aussie gate, so streams don't really align the love we do for the orc community. Oh, what's up, man? Whoa, Aussie actually has such a good representation, like ratio-wise. Shout out to Daggers and such. There's a good amount of orc players out there that actually show love. And I see you guys actually on the metric. Like, number 2 is England, so shout out to England. Love you guys. But, yeah, I mean, Aussie is, I think, maybe number, 4, like most popular country where people watch. So shout out to the Aussie kids. And, yeah, you're right. It doesn't line up. But that's why I'm doing more of these streams. What I will say is, my general workload, as for us many guys, right, we're no excuses, just like this relating here, work gone up for my normal civilian job has gone up. So I'm doing 50 hours here or more. So that's why I'm like, let me get more streams in for those days that I got some downtime. And it actually helped because I was able to get some of that basing done. All of those guys are now the same ugly basing material. Let me clean this up real quick. For you gets, drink some water. Sorry guys for this. I don't have anything here that's interesting. Let me. Oh, here's my work in progress. Kind of not ideal. I didn't do him as great, to be honest. Wouldn't really show him off, but I'll show off for you guys. Uftak, because we were talking about him. So for Uftak, I actually use him as a big mech all the time. As you see, here's his base size, freaking huge. Here's one of my beast bosses, right? Another huge base. So yeah, you can see that GW is really stepping up their game on how big their base size is. If I had my war boss up here, I would show it. I don't have my war boss. I have like a killer can here. So I just have a bunch of random models all over the place right now, guys. Sorry about that. So let me read more chat, drink some water before I move on. So I'll probably try to paint something here now because these guys are all based up. Should I work on some flash kits? Not really sure what color I want them to be, but I have all these new acrylic colors that I want to try. Like right here, I have copper. This copper acrylic I kind of wanted to try maybe on the flash kits. These burnt orange, burnt red ended up looking really nice. It's what I used on my tank busters here for like these straps that you can see here. It was this burnt orange, and in my opinion, it went well. Am I messing this up? Is this ugly? No. Oh, there we go. Okay, guys, there's my focus camera. What's up? I should have done that earlier. Sorry, guys. I'll get better at this. But this is what I was doing, a little work in progress. This was all acryl other than that. I think that was dry Necron compound I was doing here. I did like this little jeans that I gave him, huh? But this is what I mean. I'll give a little hint of purple here and there in my models. It doesn't have to always be the full color on him. And then I use it to identify units. So you guys let me know what you do when you're doing yours. Now, I do have all these def coptas that need to be like based. Like here's another def copta, like I was saying. I have a bunch of these guys that could also be based. This is a bolt. Yes, a real bolt. This isn't a magnet. I took this to work and he fell off, so I drilled through and I gave him a real bolt. And it was very suiting, and I'm grateful. So I want to do more of that. Give us juicy rant videos. Oh, Arcane, of course you would put me there. Don't say Arcane's telling me to do some rant videos, guys, here. So I ain't done it before, but sometimes, man, I know Morty and Glory be doing some such good rant videos that I'm like, yeah, man, I don't even play guard anymore. What am I talking about? You know, so and I feel like you just need that. You need to rile up the troops. You need to rile up the boys and let our issues, our struggles, our frustrations be known, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? Or oil, or the whole point of that is it gets the attention. It's not that you're, being a soft git or a crybaby necessarily, because I don't even want to be broken rules and get all you dusty meta chasing gets back over here. It's just about letting us actually feel some flavor from what we got and get the most out of our units in a fun way, and then just let the guys with the greasy rules do whatever they want. Nobody wants those in our community, to be honest. He said, yeah, I love the cult of speed, big into freebooters, play a little bit of everything. I love the approximate 4 minutes we got with Mordaka. Yeah, for the Mordaka, timeline, when that was going on, I was using a lot of Death Dreads and Titanic Walkers. That was because I knew the nerf was coming, and I was like, well, might as well just enjoy it anyways. Like, might as well just get with it, like, might as well just play it. I think I'm going to do some of these bases for these Def Coppers. So, like, as you can see here, here's another one that I worked on, where it's like, okay, now they're the biker bases. They used to be these round ones, but I want the stick because the biker base doesn't come with the stick. So I just cut it and glue it back on, and then I have the hole here, right? So some of these are secondhand Coptas, guys. It was hard to get Coptas at the 18 Coptas. So if you see them, you're like, ooh, those are ugly. Yeah, okay, guys. We making stuff work out here. We them gets, all right. But so yeah, I might have to base some of these guys, or I might paint. You guys let me know. Should I try to paint some of these gits? What should I do? I got some breaker boys that can get done, even though I'm not using too many breaker boys right now. And then I got tank busters that look pretty hideous that could get worked on, and then flash kits that were kind of a work in progress. I have these different colors that I'm interested in using from Acryl for the most part. So you guys let me know why I drank this wolf. He said, P.S. I love the shirt and the mug. The wife won't give my mug back, though, so I might need another. She jacked it. Yeah, oh, your wife took the loot. Yeah, so she jacked the loot. Thank you for that. For the support with the shirt and stuff, and then that way, and with the mug, that way Gits can recognize you and each other. I think it's always cool when Gits like see each other at events and then they take pictures, right? That's what happened with me and Wicked Joe. We were walking around, or me and Big Boss, we were walking around. They were wearing the shirt, and I was able to identify us, and then we formed a little mob in real time. So that's what I hope you can do too, man. So thank you for the love. Is that Vallejo terrain? No. This is this. So you guys can see like this. Okay. I do have a Vallejo. Vallejo's with the original one I used, but that's not what this is right now. Oh, Poland, you say David put in that prior experience to use? Yeah, for David and I, actually, the guy to do the channel with, he's my cousin, but we also work together at the same company, and he got sent out to do a mission. So that's where he is right now. That's where David is right now. Oh, what's up, Murder? Murder Mouth said, for an unhero hammer list, how many characters? So for you don't want it to be heroes, I was gonna say 3 or less. If you're gonna not have really that many characters, 3 or less, I can go for 2. I think my Cult of Speed list right now in its current state has 2. I'm considering throwing Zod on there, but he's not on there right now. And I'm considering a Death Killer War Track, but I don't have one on there right now. So at the current time, I have 2 characters on the Cult of Speed list that I'm putting together. Some Warhord lists can be low. You know, Dreadmob kind of gets a little character heavy, but that's why I lean more into Killicans and Titanic Walkers sometimes, so I can avoid being so character heavy. So that's me. But yeah, shout out to you. Thank you for the 15-month membership. You've been around for a hot minute too, and all the support. War for Murder Mouth. And you were talking about your Green Tide and such, man. You're trying to bring the Green Tide back to life, boy. Green Tide's been dusty. Let's see what do I want to work on here. This is my Git trying to look crazy out here. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Chats. Giggity. Okay, I needed the giggity. I read that out loud. It's my fault. What new units you think boys think we might be getting next edition? I'm almost thinking they'll be giving us like a revamp, like maybe a new War Boss kit is what I could end up seeing being kind of new. Maybe a new War Boss, maybe a new Weird Boy. Man, and like we've been hoping, some sort of tank, right? But what tank would it be in lore? And that's what I was thinking too, is like, speaking from other Gits that are familiar with the lore here, am I wrong? But whenever I'm hearing about orcs and like their armor coming in and their version of tanks, it's generally battle wagons or like a walker. You don't really hear too much about like tanks like with long range munitions and fire supports, and because orcs at the same time was trying to move up, right? And then you got mech guns. So it's like, what role does a tank really necessarily play that a battle wagon is not playing? Are we going to just have a lower capacity, bigger shooting like unit? Would it be more like a repulsor executioner, like maybe, or would it be like 5 transport capacity, or 6? Would it be like 6 or 7 transport capacity only for like one elite orc unit, and then you have some kind of firing? So it'd still be like a battle wagon, but just a different iteration of it, because you can't really have an orc transport vehicle that big and it not have Gits inside of it trying to get out and crumb something like or shoot our dock or something, right? So I could see that. Now I just went on a total fantasy bus there, but that's totally fine, because we really don't know what new units we get, and we already have a lot of units, so that'd be sick. What are your thoughts on a 2 Morkanaut list? Now, if it's just 2 Morkanauts, now there's a lot I can unpack there. So give me a little bit more, Moss Dog. Give me a little bit more info on what you're trying to do here, like the detachment, what I was trying to bring with it. But if you're just bringing Morkanauts, Might be better in Mordaka. Now, if we're bringing it with the Stampa and the Morkanauts, that's actually legit. I did an after action report. You can definitely win games. If people think all the time like you're just getting popped with your Stampa, not necessarily true. And if people fail to, then you're stomping them out too. So Morganauts can work, but when you start bringing 2, it's almost like they're just kind of better in Mordaka at that point. Yeah, Arcane, I got you right here. Okay. Oh, chat's still going. Make sure I'm not falling too far behind on the big chats. Okay, we got Murder. I got Murder. Hit me up with that one. All right, I see you guys. Don't worry, we're keeping up. I've been going hard. This is why I had to slow down hobbying, because I was going hard. Chat was popping off. You guys keep it up though. Keep it up. You guys are keeping my wall energy going. What time is it? It's not too late. Not even midnight. All right. We'll see how long we keep this stream going. Maybe another 45, maybe another 30 minutes, whatever we can do. But I did get all those bases done, so I am grateful for that. As for what I can do for this Git, I kind of want to give it a more metallic look is what I'm looking for. The thing is, I didn't pick out my colors before I did this, guys. So he says, Arcane Asylum, hey, as far as I'm aware of, we get the main bad treatment for 11th in a year. In just 1 year, guys. Can you think about that? And that might be the optimal time for the channel, because we'll be 3 years in. You know, we'd be a proper wall by that point. You know, we might get some traction here too. So I got to step up the game for the Great Wall. Got to be on my top game right here, so that we can get good tactics going and momentum going into the new meta. But yeah, if we do get that treatment, I mean, we can get updated kits. I think a lot of the time what the people are going to do is updated our kits. That's what I can really see GW trying to do. Now, as for this copper, guys, give me some advice here as we go. Should I dry brush it on? You think? I'm trying to think of what I want for this Captain Bad, like not this Captain, sorry, Captain Bad Rudder, for these kits. Now, I got a little bit of buckles going on here. He got his gauntlets and then that weird little shoulder pad that I put there to hold this up. That I did that to hold it up. Right? We have obviously the bullets that can get some pull. Now, maybe I should try that. Get the bullets going in and start getting those going. I haven't done that in a hot minute. Okay. Hopefully I don't totally mess this up. Let me see my brushes and what you guys have been saying. Yeah, so if we are going to get the new treatment, then I actually hope, for one, you bring back some epic characters. 2, how do you guys feel about my boy Uftak being a Legends model immediately out the gate after the new book? Now, I know some Guard players have had a similar thing, but Guard have more characters as a whole, I think. And, you know, the rule she was trying to play was redundant, but we don't have a named war boss. And it's very much, in my opinion, that we need a epic named war boss. If you really think about it, guys, and this might upset some of my fellow orc players when they think too hard about this, but if you really think about who the best air quotes war boss might actually be in our codex, there's a chance that Zagrot as a freaking runt herder is the best profile, quote unquote. Now, some people might immediately say the beast boss because his dev wounds, but he's really only efficient into vehicles. And so that makes like his max capacity into ideal target is higher. But think about just Zod leading super runts. He punches extremely hard, hitting on 2s, +1 to wound, strength 7, and you get it's just and he can still get sustained and stuff like that. He's arguably just as good as a war boss in fighting, or even maybe a little bit more reliable, depending. Now that the toughness threshold has changed a little bit in the meta, the war boss feels good again. But the war boss also only crumps like that on the wall. Zod will beat you down any turn, even if he has 1 grot left in his back pocket. You know what I'm saying? He can just carry a grot as a football and just run through like a brick of Space Marines. You know what I'm saying? Like he can just pick up his little grot, just jump into a 5-man unit intercessors, just pick them all up even outside of the wall. The war boss ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my thing. It's like that kind of upsetting, because why is Snickrot the best war boss? Am I tripping here? Am I tripping? I'm not tripping. I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So Uftak needs proper attention so that he can be a proper war boss in our proper book, and then we can have a proper epic character. Okay? And I use proper that many times intentionally. Let's see what else you guys got to get. Oh, I'm going too excited. Let's see. I just finished my grout mag. Yep, and then they got rid of it, of course. How do I remain competitive with fewer models? I struggle to move 80 plus models in my local RTT. Yeah, at that point, you are actually changing your archetype. And that's how you play other detachments. That's what people consider bully. People consider Dreadmom, Mordaka, and then in the opposite sense, you can play Call to Speed where it's not as many bodies, but you still move a lot of stuff. Now, practice is one big thing. Knowing when to shoot certain weapons, knowing when to not shoot weapons. So like just completely ignoring your truck shooting sometimes, your battle wagon shooting at times, stuff like that. Pre-understanding where you're going to measure or to deploy things helps a lot as well. So you can get through those first 2 turns more efficiently. And nonetheless, maybe allocating groups of dice quicker. So when you're just getting ready to do your fights, you're like, okay, this is automatically 20, this is automatically 10. Bam, bam, bam. Run through that quicker as well. But if not, you have to change to your archetype to maybe something like a Pain Wall and Bully Boys, where you're taking Squigs or Mega Knobs or stuff with pain, Feel No Pains and Invulns, and then you're just running through that and trying to run on that to win. So that's not a bad way to play either. So let me try to put some paint on these gits because I really do want to get some brass color on here because I haven't actually tried this brass color and I don't really know how good this looks on here. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying with this. Sorry guys, chat was going hard. So we said put bomb squigs. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, we're talking about bomb squigs. I don't know if it's time for my bomb squig rant, but yeah, that thing sucks. How they did that. Purple green equals Hulk. Yeah, you like that? My purple and green flash frigates? No, what does that mean? They need blue now? They kind of have a blue though, you know, so they're already looking kind of Hulkish. Is it red? I don't know. I hate when I paint myself into a wall of like, wait, how do I want to kind of enhance this without ruining it? So I'm going to try brass for now, at least a little bit while I get my juices going. Normally my creative juices are, you know, when I'm alone and I can make a bunch of mistakes. Now I'm doing it live, so whatever you guys see me do and it's hideous, it's like, well, now everybody sees it now. Oh my gosh, did you really just say that right now, Rick B? Hey, get everybody crump him. Crump Rick B. He just said that we're going to lose the Gargantuan squig off. Can you guys believe the Git would say that out loud? And just so that GW can hear him? No, dude, we're not losing that Gargantuan squig off, okay? We're not losing him. Now, I was disappointed because, again, I was with Wicked Joe and he picked up squig-offs and we got rid of those. And then, like I said, I had ground mega tanks and ground tanks and they got rid of those. So who knows? I did, though, finally make one grand memory with my one Gargantuan squig-off that I was running, where I ran a Gargantuan squig-off and a Stampa and a Gorkanaut on the same list. And I showed the pictures of the game in the Discord, and it was against Knights before they came out with their new jankiness. And it was a super fun game, and I had a great time. So even just having that memory was lovely. So I'm grateful. But yeah, Gargantuan squig-offs might not be long for this world. So here it is. Let's see. I like how chat's trying to give me some clap back for saying the Mega Knobs look like shit. I made my own clan, and the logo, they're called Wall Tactics. Yeah, Jank, that's my boy. And Jank is actually, shout out to you getting your own card at your shop. So he actually works at a local shop out here too. So you guys can see him live. And he's great in every way, whether it's competitively or crusade or just having a grand chat. I have a good time with that guy. We did a video together if you want to check that out not too long ago. But yeah, shout out to you. And I like that you took the time to do that creativity. You do a lot of creative stuff. And you were playing Cult of Speed before it was cool to play Cult of Speed. Avoid the Mega Knobs. They're probably going to be less lunchboxy. That's what I've been saying. And if one of our old videos we did as well where I actually just ranked like orc models. I had ranked the Mega Knobs as like my least favorite orc unit because of the lunchboxy nature of their kit. So I'm a little too paint heavy right here on this. It is what it is, guys. Luckily, it's on the inside of the gun, so hopefully nobody sees it. Trust me, I'm not winning any paint competitions or entries, even though I will participate and let people, and see them. But I'm not to get to win paint competitions, guys. So I paint just for fun and to get them done. And I'm glad y'all are here because it's actually more fun with you guys, even though I'm embarrassed on my low skill. But like, yeah, lunchboxes absolutely suck. Stop at 15,000 points. Roger, that's exactly what happened to me, dude. I remember one time I was counting points with my cousin David, who I do the channel with, and we were both going over like how much stuff we had because he had too much Space Wolves as well, and we are both like, oh shoot, we got into double digits and we barely know what we're doing. We barely know what we're doing. We're playing Warhammer sometimes on the carpet floor, with some terrain because we have nowhere to place it. So yeah, I remember the zeal that I had as well, just like you get. So that's why I, entertain all the good ideas, the wacky ideas, the new player conversations, because that's the whole point of why we started the channel. Like, I remember just being that zealous and being like, I want to talk about orcs, but nobody knows what they do and everybody thinks they suck. Okay, that was a good talk. Or they're broken and everybody's mad that I'm playing them. Okay, so that was brought a little bit more to life, guys. Let me know how I can improve these a little bit more as I move on. I'm subject now. I see I can put some lights on here and everything, but I'm thinking more about his actual light bits. Like, I think this should get some. Oh, I just put some copper on it. I think this should get some kind of metallic look to it, in my opinion. So I might go back to that. But right now, I'm just gonna put the weapons. Generally speaking. So I need a paper towel over here. Let's see real quick. What you guys are saying here. Roger, run by Snickrot and Warhord. Okay. I'm not very blood axy in general. My brain has too much echo these days. But flash kits with the buff would be cool. Yeah, they would. I like that. Getting buffs. Noted. Sorry, I'm trying to get through a little faster. Heck yeah, murder. Noted. Yeah, dude. Noted. Murder started to paint all this stuff up and started to catch up quick, even though he did go crazy for a little bit. Saw some love for Oof Tag. That's what I'm trying to say. So Monday, I just want to lean into more Warhord and Dreadmob. What are some models that never hurt to have more of other than Grots? So typically Boys has been one of those. Storm Boys having a little bit of those, a little bit of Warbiker stuff that has like mobility, but also unique mobility, like not too much stuff flies. So that's why Storm Boys are kind of cool to just have, because not too much stuff has a jetpack and flies as an orc. So that's one that I felt like has a good staying power for what it does. Now you can also kit bash some of your own mechs. And so there's units like that where you can kind of kit bash your own, where GW has been moving away from those. So I wouldn't advise getting those, but they will help you easily enhance a Dread Mob list if you have like one Titanic unit and then you have a mech. So what's another unit that I would say? Typically I'd say a War Boss, but since we're moving into like the new, we might be getting replaced, I would say maybe the War Boss and Mega Armor, some of those characters having like one of those each. Like I really only have one Big Mech and Mega Armor, like a real one, and then the other one is an offshoot where I kind of can flex the model between two different data sheets. So there's kind of a cool way of getting those done too, if you don't want to have every single character that's possible for orcs. Get a cool kind of like versatile character, or at least model that can be a character. What's another unit? Characters. I like Boys. Knobs have been holding it down. I feel like Knobs are not getting replaced. Knobs look still pretty good. They're still distinguished in their size. I just don't know what they're going to do about their war gear. Like, is it going to just all be whatever comes in the box now, and you're going to have to run that? So that's something I thought of as well. Orcs, because of the fact that we're going to be the next big bag, it can be quite interesting. So if you want stuff that's probably not going to end up changing, like invest in those big Titanic stuff, might be pretty decent for you now too. Or like fully flesh out a little bit more of like an all-rounders units that actually, should I paint that something different? I feel like I should have painted that something different. I was just kind of putting paint on everything. That's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna think about that more of something else that would be good for Warhord. As for the Dread Mob though, like I said, Titanic units would probably be the best bet right now that you can lean into. And feel like it'll last a hot minute when you get used to it. And you can play it in 2 different attachments for a little bit. Random login name. What's up, Brigade? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. I just want to say thank you. I got into tabletops about 5 months ago, and the advice you've given the community in Discord has been amazing. Well, thank you. We love you very much, again, and we're happy to have you. Welcome to the Great Wall. And that was one of the big motivating factors when making the channel, was like to make the bar to entry a bit lower. Not that it's like easy to play Orcs by any means, because it's absolutely not, but to make it so like people aren't so frustrated. Because I know when I started with Orcs, guys, gosh, I swear to you, there was this time, I don't know, maybe for the first 3 months after I got excited about them, where I was super frustrated because I was like, why? There's a short about it too that I have out there that it just, where I was just frustrated because like, why are all my guns called stupid? Just choppa and then big choppa and big shooter and shooter and big shooter. Like I was like, am I being trolled here? I remember thinking that, and then thinking like, well, I'm paying points to shoot and I cannot shoot anything. Why do I have a shooting skill and everybody's way better than me? So then it made me a bit frustrated when playing my Orcs. And I'm glad that changed, and I'm glad that I overcame that. But there was a bit of frustration for a while, and that's what one of the other things I wanted to help people with transitioning into Orcs, is like not getting so angry and mad at our uniqueness in the game of how we play. So very happy to hear that. Thank you for saying that, because that was a huge motivating factor, like the community and making it easier to play Orcs for like the general person at a quicker rate, that you can like get stuck in and start winning some games. So that's it. That's exactly what I wanted. Now, as for my paint skill, I'm gonna need some help with that one day. If you guys know a painter that would show me how to paint, like do a stream with me, that'd be cool too. Because I'm not a good painter. Like I said, I figured it out on my own, and I've been bad at it the whole time. So let's see what else is going on. Basing with peanut butter. Yeah, you would lick it, Taco. Yeah, they're dope minis. Which one's a badass mini? The Uftak? Yeah, I'm not sure, but Big Mac is awesome. Oh, what's up, Wapo? I've been looking for you. This gonna be back so I can see that model. Wapo's making me a Warbot or a Knob. Not sure which one he's doing right now, but he's giving me a special order model that he's getting to me. So I'm excited to use. And he built it as the Wall Tactics logo. So it has like a headband and a power claw, and he's standing in the similar stance. So that's pretty sick. So I look forward to getting that. What else do I want to put on this poll? Because I feel like I'm not digging that. I mean, so far the copper is doing just enough, but I'm not sure what else to be adding to this. So I could use some suggest. Oop! I'm stealing something. I'm stealing that. Sorry, guys. Let's knock something out. So the copper helped a little bit, right? And here's, if you guys want to see how the copper looked from just me sloppily putting it on real quick with my fat fingers. This is how the copper kind of looked. Didn't do too much thinning or anything on it. Came out all right. I could maybe use better layer on it. This was actually kind of a mistake, and I left it, so I might adjust that for later. But still adding it gives a little color. Like I said, you're not going to learn anything great from painting from me, but I might learn from you, so I'll stick around. Favorite line of paint, now that you're asking, since I'm such a high-level hobbyist, I've been using this acryl recently. So I have acryl, I got Vallejo. I'm a really big fan of this Vallejo color. And I got some Army Painter, and then of course I got GW stuff. So I got a bunch of stuff everywhere around here. But recently I've been using this Pro Acryl, and I just like how it goes on. I now have about 15 colors, maybe a little less of them. And I've been digging all of them all the time. So this is my first time. I just popped this open right now. This is the copper. and this is what I'm using right now. But thank you for asking. And like I said, you got any guys anything you guys got to say about paint stuff advice? I'm here for it. Yeah, and the bolt. Oh, my dad that far behind on chat that you're talking about the bolt. Oh my goodness. Let me move up in this chat real quick. So I'm gonna jump. Pat, nice to see you, Wapo. I'm gonna jump ahead like an hour in this chat, guys. When's there going to be another paint competition? There already is one. It's for the Killer Cans. Yeah. Let's move up here. New War Boss kit. Hot garbage on Ooftalk. Yeah, right. Hot garbage that they dumped on Ooftalk. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. And yeah, Ooftalk's more fun. Oh, we got Wapo back. Okay. But I caught up to some of the chat. God dang. Dang, I was behind there, guys. I was too into this. See, they haven't done the hobby stream. Now I know how this happens sometimes where people are like, oh, I lost chat. I lost focus. My bad. I just got there. So we got Wapo. Thoroughly enjoyed the Crusade video with Eddie. Top work. Yes, Wapo. Whoa, that's what I like to see, dude. When the gets that have been around since the beginning get some content that they haven't got before and they like it. That's good motivation. That's good to see. So thanks. I'm glad you like that, Wapo. Very good. Very, very. I was looking at this like, damn, I messed up. Very good to know. And very encouraging because my boy came out here and he had to drive like an hour each way to be in that video, and it was on a weekday. So shout out to Jank, love that get, and he's a fantastic channel moderator. He did so much of the work on the channel, so he's carrying that on his back right now. So thank you very much, and thanks for recognizing him, Wapo. You played some Crusade at the club? How'd that go? Let me know how that went. Yeah, bully boys can have some fun. No, and I'm really not like hateful to bully boys, to be honest. I do find some frustration. I very do that they hit so soft. It's so limited on keywords. Those are all very, very, very valid frustrations with them. But at the same time, totally can win games with them. I've totally had some fun archetypes with them. The fact that I finally sometimes feel a little tough, finally get some saves in my armies. I don't just fall over. There are things that I actually really enjoyed about playing in Bully Boys. So it's just going so poorly in the actual performance, and I think it's because you have to play so optimally and you have to make the just right list into what your meta is. Because if you're like, well, I'm gonna play a pain wall, but it's Squig Hog Boys, and the meta's like, oh, I have my local meta just totally eats Squig Hog Boys and Mega Knobs all day. Well, it's like, oops, I should have gone for the boys version. But you go to boys version, then you run into like just a bunch of World Eaters with Zerkers, and some Emperor's Children or something, and you're like, oh, never mind, and I'm just getting beat up over here too, and my boys are getting picked up too quickly. So it's hard to say when you're playing like a mono-dimensional like phase kind of version, and it doesn't have the I can automatically smash you and kill you like a Warhord, and it doesn't have the I can cause bad trades with Fight on Death and Art as Nails. So really, you're just kind of like, well, I hope I touch you with this wall, and that's enough for me to win, which it sometimes is not because you just don't get any damage. Regular Squig Off gone. Yeah, it is. Big head boss bunker. Shut up. Big headed boss bunker. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, you're right, bro. Painting minis is for chump. Kid bashing is Mac. Yeah, Fedora. Well, then show us in the chat what you've been doing. All right, you guys have a good night. Yeah, have a good sleep. I'm probably going to close it up here soon anyways, but not at this moment, but sooner than later because I am going a little longer than I expected. But this was exciting. I had a good time. Glad the Gits showed up. I wasn't sure who would show up and show out, but we got Gits here. Happy to see that. Thanks for showing up. And I did get a little bit behind on the comments because I'd see some good ones and start elaborating on them and over expressing them, and all of a sudden I'd get behind on chats if I ran to like 2 of those in a row. So sorry about that, you guys. Probably got a little dumb there where I was like replying to something that was 30 minutes late. Oh, that's a nice checker pattern. I don't want to mess that up. I'm gonna have to paint that checker pattern up. Now, I am interested on how I can make these models better. I have a lot of good colors here from this acryl though. So I'm gonna mess with it. Like I was using that burnt orange, they got burnt red. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. This guy doesn't have anything I can really do too rustic other than bullets right there. Hot copper. Um, you said same guy to get local. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to sleep soon too. See what I can get done, but I'll finish out with you guys here in a bit. At least see what I can do with these flash kits because I'm almost done. At least with getting some brass on them. Not mad. We got all those guys rebased. Got to interact with some chat. I was glad because I really wanted to rebase those guys for a long time. They've been sitting there and they're freaking hideous. Now I will say the paint on some of these guys are still kind of hideous, but that's what we're working towards, getting it done. A lot of the times because of the nature of the channel and metas and blah blah blah, I really don't get to fully paint out some of my models. That's why this time I didn't try to make my breaker boys so ugly. Try to give them at least a little bit of attention when I was putting them out. So these guys were like, all right, I'm not as embarrassed putting these guys out on the table as battle ready. As for this guy, he's pretty ugly, so he'll need some work. So these guys, don't worry, I have other flash kits that are already done, so they, people aren't gonna have to be tortured by these. But yeah, what's going on? Let's see what else. Oh, okay. It's getting late, dude. I know that. Chat dwindled down a little bit, but that's fine. Totally fine. Because I started this chat already late. So I didn't even expect it to go this long. I didn't expect that many people to show up. So thank you for being here. Thank you to all the gits that were participating. So if you got to go to sleep, no problem. I'll see you gits later. Happy to see the Australian gits are actually allowed out and about. And some of the West Coast gits were able to come out also because of what time it is. Yeah, so that's good to know too, guys, for you guys that are in different time zones, because then I know and I'm like, all right, maybe I might just show up once in a while just for those guys in those time zones to be able to catch the stream once in a while. So yeah, let's see. I kind of like the idea of making this brass. Hopefully this is not a bad idea, but I'm thinking this under barrel being more of a brass color, and then of course I'll tone it down a little bit. But yeah, I'm a little too heavy on that. Oosh. Spread it out. A little too heavy. Just gotta spread it out. All right. Spread it like Taco said. I got peanut butter on this. All right. Yeah, it's actually hard to actually focus on something detail orientated when you're on the stream, and since it's not like I'm gonna teach someone how to paint, not that great, but it's we're getting somewhere. A little progress here at a time, which is all we need, guys. Remember this. We're out here just to this stream is to show everybody, new, intermediate, whatever. We're all just painters, hobbyists, guys having a good time. Not everybody has to be Golden Demon, even though I will say plenty of guys that are orc players are better painters than me. And that's something why I say I do the paint competition, so make sure you guys do that with the killer cans, because that's how I live vicariously through some of you guys, where I'm like, damn, I can not paint like that. So it's pretty cool to see. And right now, I'm not even sure if this is a good mix of colors I'm picking for this flash kit. This little handle, that's probably not even a good idea. I was probably getting just this. Then getting here, I went a little overboard, but oh, that's fine. Oh, we got some bullets on his back. Right, definitely doing those. And now we're doing better. Here in the Central Time Zone. Yeah, me too. I'm near Chicago. If you guys wonder where I'm at, I'm near Chicago. So we're in this together right now. All right. Let me put some of this bullet brass on here. The bullet brass did help a little bit, huh? Because those models were looking quite ugly when I first culled them out here, and just a little bit of brass really helped bring them to life. So I'm grateful for that. Now, not sure what to go with next, but I'm sure between all of us put together that are remaining in this stream, or just me by myself when I'm alone, I'll figure this out. Yeah. So, like I said, I wasn't even expecting it to be popping up in here, and this stream to be so heavy. So I'm grateful for that and pumped. Okay. I kind of had the idea. So, for the little for the all with a little like right here, you guys in the back of here, I kind of just want to do like the little bracket with brass, right? Just kind of want to do a little bracket with brass. And then give it a different paint. But I'm not going to put the brass on the front. That might take away too much. But if I could put it like on the back, just for the mounting brackets essentially, that could be cool. Now, my fat finger almost just snapped off that banner, and I am my own biggest weakness as an org player because I'd be destroying banners or spiky bits sometimes, and it just sucks. As you see in my def copter, I broke them, and I was just like, sure, I'll just put an entire bolt through, just Mac boy it up real quick. All right, so a little bit of that. It looks a little weird here, I know, and it looks like that on your screen. I can see, but the idea remains that I just want to give it a nice little bracket. And then when I paint the rest of it, it should kind of look a little more fleshed out, hopefully. Not too funky. But it's okay, because I'm going to move on from this guy after this little part right here. What Jack say? Lots of what orcs have are parodies of Imperium. Wonder if they'll remain like that for future models. Because we copy of them and what they do. So what are you thinking? Like, we'll get a Centurion? Like, what are you thinking? We'll do that. What do you think we'll end up getting? Like, so if the Imperium got like updated dreadnoughts, are you thinking we're gonna get updated Def Dreads? And that's why they got rid of Mecha Dreads, because I got Mecha Dreads finally printed, and then GW got rid of them. And Mecha Dreads kind of sucked anyways, so it wasn't even like a big deal. I was just trying to play them. I was just trying to find a way to play them. And GW was like, nah, we'll just get rid of those guys too. So are you saying like that we'll get dreadnoughts like to come into play? All right, so I gave like a little bit of brass look to this get. Don't worry, he'll get more colors. All right, we'll finish up with this guy right here. The boss is in here painting. Yeah, Joe, I've been here for almost 2 hours painting, getting ready. They got to get some more stuff painted up, get behind on all that. Nice. Yes, and thank you for that. The second color is helping. Chicago visited once a year or so. Yeah, not too much to visit in Chicago, but we're out here. Joe's out coming out here for some other reason, but we're going to get a game in. I would think so. Maybe in lore stuff, like they kind of copy it with an orc touch. Yeah, it totally makes sense for like looting reasons, right? Like if you're looting their technology a lot, you're going to kind of adopt the core of what the technology is. So like, would we get walkers? Is that kind of what I'm asking now? Like, are we saying we're going to get walkers or update our walkers? Mega Knobs, if Terminators got updated, right, then would our Mega Knobs get updated? I mean, I think Mega Knobs look freaking stupid right now. Like, you guys, I don't think you hear too much negativity from me, even though I could be, direct and such. I don't try to speak too overly negative. I'll just say it. Mega Knob kit's ugly as a mofo, Like, I have 6 Mega Knobs. So, of course, like I say, I do actually have Mega Knob kits, even with them looking like Lunchbox kits. But there's someone that I would absolutely love to see get an upgrade. So, in that case, if we did mirror them, we would get, like a Def Dread and, Terminators and maybe some new Burner Boys. None of those really seem out of the question, to be fair. Unlike what we could possibly get for that. No, I think this paint's getting a little dry. I gotta mix it up a little better. I don't think I mixed it up for a while. Got a little thick. Heck yeah, Fedora. What's up, Fedora? I want my Def Dreads to have an extra attack keyword. This is BS. I want them to have. I want the Def Dreads to have a better data sheet ability. And I want them to come down in points if they're not going to change in like defensive profile. And I mean, last edition they were like 95 points. I kind of want them to be like 100 and like 105 or something like that. Like, I very much want def dreads to be dirt cheap and just stuff that can be there, because they're so unreliable when it comes to just like damage and then survivability and delivery and data sheet ability, and they're so trash. So they need a lot of work. I don't think it's out of the question that GW gives them what they need. It's just GW needs to know like how bad they truly are, and to give them actual time to give them a look, because their data sheet ability sucks. And if you're gonna make it remain the same, I'm not saying it has no use. So if someone's like, yeah, but my def dread actually turned off someone's ability to do a secondary stratagem, I'm not saying it has no use. I'm just saying like it needs to be at a -1, for example. Okay, or even it could be even an aura. If it's even an aura of 6 inches, or whatever. I would say 6, but maybe that's too big. But I'd love an aura of like 6 inches of like, okay, now you have to take the paddle shock test. So even if my def dread's not in combat with you, you might have to take one, because for 3 inches. So let's say he just fights something else, and you're within 3 inches of that. Maybe you got to take a battle shock test. That could be cool. Like, I'd be down if it was just a little bit more useful and a little bit more potent, because right now it's just straight up hot doo-doo, So, yep. And they don't fight that well. I think they should innately hit on 2s in combat. It could be something like if you bring 3 melee arms, you automatically end up just hitting on 2s also. I don't think that's out of the question. And then it could be if you bring 4 DACA weapons that you could just hit on 4s, because none of those weapons are too good. Just the fact that covers everywhere and nothing's that high of strength in their guns, or reliable volume and such. It's like whatever. You could do custom mega blasts, but then you're just gonna blow yourself up also. It's like, all right, cool. So yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can improve a def dread without making it OP. For sure, it's not even that like too creative or hard to do. So I would love, as someone who owns like 5 def dreads right now, I would love to be able to bring a little bit more. There was a little stint, like I said, when I played more DACA, but also when I was playing Dread Mob again, where I was like, oh, I'm going to try to bring some def dreads. And every opponent, regardless if I won or lost or did good, was like, yeah, your list is cool. Those def dreads suck. Like every single time. So every single time they were like, nah, dude, those things suck. Like, all right. Even when they weren't that bad in the game performance-wise, they were like, that's kind of more luck. They definitely suck. I was like, all right. It wasn't even people who watch channel or like biased orcs. They're just kind of like, yeah, whatever that little dude is, he just kind of sucks. So as much as I can make killer cans work and I talk about it, I never promote something that I don't honestly believe. But yeah, def dreads are just rough. Now, what's also rough is my painting. So let me know where I can add some of these things to the killer cans, or I might have to look at some pictures or something. But thank you to the Gits who participated. Thank you very much. It's getting late, so thank you for the love. So we'll do more of these. You guys let me know. Leave a like at least, or whatever you guys want to do. Yell at me and say that you want to keep this up. Thank you very much. You guys have a good night for the support. Nice to see you, Rick B, Wicked Joe. What's up, the Great? I didn't see the Great before. I think it'd be great if in Oracle lore they touch stuff. Yeah, they do. Killer cans are a better option in my opinion. I like killer cans better too. What's up, Luffy? Whoa, from Poland out there. These people out here. Let's see what out here. We got people from all over the world right now. That was Australia. Adios, homie. What the heck? When I put that up on stream, the Great. We got people from all over the world out here. So that's what's up at different time zones. We got Aussies. We got Americans. All right, guys. So we're having a good night. Thank you to everybody who's here. Stay tuned for what's coming next, but there's always one thing to keep in mind. Don't cross the wall, because we'll knock your teeth out. Whoa.